Hey there, it's Maria, and I am heading out on my way. I'm actually in the Capital One Lounge, heading out at DIA to be an extra on season 6 of The Chosen. So, if you're new to my videos, I was a background extra for season 5, and I have been doing a video diary of my experience. And as I got started doing that, in the middle of doing that, I also got to get a ticket to be able to go to season 6. And so that's what I'm actually heading out doing. And I had been promising these videos to those of you who've been watching, and somebody messaged and said, "Hey, I thought you were going to do like the three reasons you're going to love this experience and th three things that will frustrate you." And so I'm being held accountable to what I said I would do. So in this video, I'm telling you 3 reasons why a chosen experience as a background extra will just be completely fabulous. And then 3 reasons why it will absolutely frustrate you when you're there. So, are you ready? Let's see if I can get this done before my flight time is called. All right. So, by the way, I want to say I'm not preaching at you. I am totally being honest and vulnerable with you of what I experienced, and even in ways that I behaved that frustrated me myself. So please know that I'm just trying to help you learn from it and grow from it, because you probably might experience this if you're going to be a background extra too. And for those of you who maybe in the future are going to be one, you can just learn from me. So the very first thing, hold on, let's see, I'm in the wrong section. Let me find my notes really quick. Of course, I was prepared. No, I'm not. All right. I have my notes here on my phone. All right, 3 reasons your experience is going to be just completely amazing. Number one is it's the ultimate fan experience. Of course, you get to be on set. You're right where the scenes are going to be filmed. The Utah Temple Mount, for those of you going to Utah, is just, it's not open to the public. So it's a blessing in itself to be able to experience that. And then you're also going to just be so blessed when you get to see all the camera crew working and all of the how all the things come together, the writing, the acting, the costumes. But what I absolutely love was like seeing all the details on set, like the spices and the coins and all the people who come from out of the woodwork to help clean it up and pick it up and reset it. So you're just going to see how intentional, it's just awe-inspiring, and you'll gain a deeper appreciation for the entire process of the show. The other part of that, you'll just love and be so blessed by the generosity of the staff on set. You're really taken care of, you're seen, and you're appreciated as a background extra. There's snacks, drinks, sunscreen, all of those great things. Even the fans, I'm sorry, even the cast, some of the cast come to the fan tent. So you'll be so blessed by that entire experience, beyond just filming and being on set. It's just like an entire community. The second thing that you'll be so blessed by is it's an experience that lasts. It's not just a one and done type of thing. It's not just in the moment. It becomes a true, deeply embedded memory. You're going to make friends that will far outlast your one experience on site. And in fact, this round, I'm actually meeting up at the airport with my friends that I met last year. We're renting a car together, a hotel together, and we're making a whole trip out of it. So again, it's more than just being on set. It's an entire experience. And the other part of that experience that lasts is when it comes out in theaters, you get to like relive it all again and chat with your friends all over again of like, oh, I think I saw you, or I remember that day, or I remember how that felt. And so it's an experience that really lasts a long time. And the third part that make your experience completely blessed is if you read scripture and you know the scenes that you are filming because you have read them. So I'm a Bible study teacher. I've studied the Bible many, many times. And I even remember I got to film the flipping of the tables in season 5. And I've read that script. It's one of my favorite scripts, actually. But that day on set, I went back to read it and I realized like the details I had missed. And one of those details was there were children in the temple, right? And they were shouting, Hosanna to the Son of David. So I had read the scripture that day when I knew that's what we were going to be filming. And when I read that detail and then I saw the kids on set, it like just made it so much more rich and filling. So read your scripture. For those of you who might be going to season 6, it's an account in all 4 of the Gospels. And so if you go follow me on Facebook in the Chosen Women fan group, I'm going to list them in there and you can read them in there. I've also just kind of done a little devotional and written a prayer about, possibly being in the crowd so that you're experiencing it and preparing for it ahead of time. So you will be blessed if you prepare. All right, this is the part I know you're waiting for. The three things that will frustrate your experience as a background extra. And before I go there, I just want to say I've experienced a lot of these things myself, like internally, and also people outside of me who I could visually see this happening to them and getting frustrated as well. I'm not preaching to anyone. I just want to walk and grow through it all together. So the first one is jealousy, envy, and comparison. So jealousy is when you resent someone for what they have, and envy is wanting something for yourself that you don't yet have or can't have. And you might feel this when maybe another group goes ahead of time or they have longer time on set. And you start to feel like, oh, I didn't get an equal amount of time on set. And so you'll start to feel that envy or comparison. Or maybe you see someone whose costume is like amazing and you didn't maybe put in all the effort into your own costume, or your costume's like falling apart or not as comfortable, right? And you can start to get frustrated with yourself about that. And the other part is maybe someone gets picked to be in a part of a scene or in front of the camera, and now you find yourself way in the back, right? And so that can feel like comparison and jealous. It can feel unfair. And that's just not a good energy to have. It can just frustrate your experience. And I want you to remember John and Peter, right? In John 21, verse 21, Peter asks Jesus, what about him? And Jesus answers, what is that to you? You follow me. And so just remember, like, John and Peter are always comparing each other with each other. And so just remember that you are seen, you are known, and God has you right where you are. And you're part of a bigger, grander story. So take those jealous thoughts captive and celebrate others. Try to be happy for someone else, and joy will be multiplied when you root for someone else, truly. All right, the second thing that can frustrate your experience is self-righteousness in disguise. I'm a total rule follower. But what really bothers me is when people start to make up rules that don't actually exist, or they turn guidelines around into more rules. And then there's people who act like they're the ones in charge when they're clearly not in charge. You're going to meet people who speak down to you or down about others, talk about others, or they become like gatekeepers. And that's an energy that you can feel and you can sense, and it like sucks the fun out of the experience. And it can be really frustrating. And for me, what ends up happening is it brings out self-righteousness in me. I start to sense someone else being bossy, and then now I start to feel like I'm getting bossy, and then I only frustrate myself. And so the best thing for me is to like remove myself or try to just speak or think kinder thoughts about that person that is acting self-righteous in a way. The other thing is people just aren't going to act Christ-like all the time. There's like 600 extras in the tent at 6 a.m., all trying to get their coffee, right? We're all trying to reboot and boot up our spirits, and people are just irritable. It just happens after walking around for 8, 10 hours on set. People are just irritable. You're going to be that person, and other people are going to be that person. And it naturally can frustrate you, right? We're humans. So pray. The best thing is to do pray in that moment. Pray before you go. Also, just pray for patience, and then just do your own heart check if you can, and you can shift your own energy. So check whether you're feeling loving or prideful or your ego's getting in the way. And then you can ask yourself, maybe, is there a way I can serve in this moment? Is there a way I can give a compliment to someone in this moment? And that can help shift your energy. The third thing that can absolutely frustrate your experience is when fandom can overcome a Jesus-centered focus, right? And it can happen to all of us. And so the energy can shift. You can feel it kind of around others, when maybe even in yourself, right? When people start racing for the camera, or things are getting intense, or they want to be by the person, the celebrity who came to take like a picture, and people are pushing, and you can just feel the energy, even though we're trying to like be kind and nice to each other. And that can just frustrate you, of course, right? It can steal your joy when someone's cutting in line or just like desperate for pictures and things like that. I'm a total fangirl. I love fun. I love bracelets. I love taking pictures. I love being in the costumes. Like to love and laugh a lot. And I think it can sometimes just look like outward fandom. People don't know the inside of my heart and how much I love scripture and how I have devoted my life to teaching scripture. And so we can tend to judge one another on the outside, including those fun fandom type people that really just love the show. And so, you could be on either side of those coins, right? And either side of those things can frustrate your experience as well. So just be careful if you're getting swept up in the moment, or if you getting annoyed at someone else getting swept up in the moment is just again, same thing. Look for someone to encourage. Say something to yourself. Say a silent prayer. Write yourself a little note, and just remind yourself that we're all there for a greater and bigger story. And only God knows our hearts, right? Only He can see our hearts. And Romans 12:10 says, be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourselves. So try to remember that. Pick a scripture to remind yourself when you're on set. So in closing, yeah, your experience is going to just be completely amazing. It also can stretch you, and that's a good thing, right? We're all learning. You might do or say something dumb in the moment, but you can apologize and or think about how to not do that again. But before you go, definitely read, pray scripture, or I'm sorry, pray and read some scripture and just ask God to continue to prepare your heart. I'm getting ready to board my plane in about 25 minutes here. And that's what I'm going to do as soon as I'm done loading this video. So for those of you going to Utah, I will see you soon. And God bless you. God be with you. Talk to you soon. Bye.